Welcome back to South Pass Wellness. I'm Althea. Thanks so much for taking the time to join me today on this day 8 of our Getting Ready for the New Year challenge. So, today is kind of a review day because, it's been a week, we gave results yesterday, and now it's time to talk about some of the things that are working, not working, right? Especially with some of the numbers that we have had. All right, so we're still committed to our 10 minutes a day on our treadmill, and we have successfully been able to do that every day, except for Sunday, which rest day, okay? And then I have been able to read a chapter in my enthusiasm book that I showed you the other day. I read a chapter yesterday, read a chapter this morning instead of screen time. I'm going to say that's made a difference. Also, getting my scriptures upstairs again so I can start reading them first thing in the morning, that has also made a difference. This morning there was, I have a cousin who was having kind of this difficult time, and it was really strange. I have to share this experience with you. So he explained this situation, and then he's like, if you got any suggestions, I'm all ears. Well, I just happened to read this morning in the scriptures that about tithing. And it said something in there that when you pay your tithing, the windows of heaven will be open and he will fight your battles for you, meaning God will help you. And when I was reading that, that just popped into my mind really big. And I was like, okay, when we're making changes for our life, it's one thing, right? And when we've never been a serious religious person, okay, because everybody gets kind of this weirdo-ness about spirituality and religion and meshing them and separating them and blah, blah, blah. But when you're making changes in your life, there tends to be this ability to go back to what you were taught as a child, right? So we have these I remember mom used to say blah, blah, blah. I remember dad used to say blah, blah, blah. And it was kind of funny because that also popped in my mind. And so since he said he was all ears, then I suggested, since he had tried everything, then maybe he should try paying his tithing. I don't know how that's going to go over. Maybe he'll block me. I don't know. But the impression that came to my mind in this comment was so strong that I was like, okay, how do I say this? Because of course, whenever we start doing something like this and making changes in our life, it's one thing when we see results, right? And we do want to share it with people. But there's also this part of us that kind of worries that they're going to be highly offended if we do. And we sometimes will keep from saying something because we fear the repercussion of what will be said or what will be spewed in our direction. So I put it out there and I just said, take it for what it's worth, however you want to apply it. And it occurred to me then to type that God spelt backwards is dog, so bring out the big dog, and I put that in there. I don't know how that's going to go over. I don't. And I mean, of course, it's a well-intentioned comment and everything like that because, I don't know where he's at in his life. I mean, I do my best to keep in contact with my family and stuff like that, but I have a very large family. My first cousins are, I believe, 80 first cousins. So, and then it just kind of builds from there. And so I come from a very large family. And so trying to keep in contact with everybody, it does make it challenging. However, things happen for very specific reasons at very specific times. So I feel like today was kind of this challenge for me personally to see if I would follow through and say something that was working for me and advise somebody else, and hopefully he takes it with all the love that it was intended. If not, then I guess we'll just not talk for a couple more years, I guess, or whatever. But the plain fact of the matter is when we are making changes in our life, yes, we want to share all the things that we're doing. We want to tell the world of all these changes that we're making and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes the world doesn't respond, which then gives us the excuse or the moment to pause and reflect and say, oh, maybe what I'm doing is not right. So I've decided that I said what I said. He said he was open. I'm going to take him at face value. I said what I said, and now I am moving on. Which brings me to my point in this book, Enthusiasm Makes All the Difference. So in here, this morning, yesterday in the chapter was kind of like, your approach to God, your relationship with God. And today it was about like purging the mind of stuff. And he made the comment that Colonel Sanders had received his very first social security check and took that and used it to start basically KFC. His whole intention was to sell the recipe for his fried chicken that he had, his family's fried chicken recipe. And he had drove all over the place, called all these places, and then come to a place in Utah, I believe. I may get this wrong, so don't quote me. But, and finally convinced somebody to try the recipe. And then coined the phrase, it's finger licking good. It was that good. And so I thought that was very interesting because to me, it shows you it does not matter what age you are. You can start at any time something to be successful. Number 2 is persistence does pay off because everything happens at the right time for the right reason. Maybe Colonel Sanders wasn't ready for all that fame and success and fortune during his early 20s or 30s or 40s. No, he had to wait until he got a social security check before he started KFC's, legend. And so can things happen to us at the right time? Yes. I'm remembering that this life is about experiences and what do we want to experience? Sometimes we think we don't want to experience pain, but honestly, it's how we grow. It's how we grow. It's how we get challenged in our beliefs to see if we really are getting strong in that area or not. You will find that when you start building your testimony, then it happens. You get challenged on that testimony to see if what you're testifying to is really true. And we do this throughout our lives. It's not just from a religious aspect. It's all in our physical world. We testify of the things that happen in our life. Like, I had this horrible experience and now I've learned this. So I testify that this experience taught me that hurts. The best example is, I'll show you. So the other night I was cooking dinner and got in the oven and touched my arm on the oven top, and it reminded me again that fire's hot. Because there it is. The truth is when you stick your arm in the oven and you're not really paying attention to what you're doing, yeah, you can get burned. And so it's very fascinating to me when these come back into our little thing. I should have been more observant, but I wasn't. Anyway, the dinner was still delicious. You just keep going. So as a review today, what has worked for you in the past week? Working for me on the treadmill, getting there 10 minutes every day, that's been really weird because sometimes I'm so happy about it. And then other times I'm like, okay, I said I would do this, so I'm doing it. And so one of the things that I did was I put my tennis shoes on the other side of this tote that you can't see. And it has my tennis shoes so that when I get done recording the videos, I can just put my tennis shoes on and go right over to the treadmills because they are right there. And so being able to set things up for success so that you can keep following through, I think is key. So whenever you can do the little things that set you up for success, please do them, whatever they may be. Now, today, of course, is the day before Thanksgiving. And we're getting ready, of course, like everybody else is getting ready, and you're thinking about all the things that you wanted to do. And so in order to get a jump start on my day, like as soon as we woke up and we got settled and everything like that, in for our little morning routine of, him getting on his screen and I'm starting to read that book, I hurry and sorted the laundry and got the laundry started because I'm like, I would like to have that done today. So because tomorrow is Thursday, it's my usual laundry day. I don't want to be doing laundry and cooking all this food. So I'm going to get it done today and get it out of the way. The other thing is now the Honey Pie has a 4-day weekend, which is great. And so I want to be able to do things that will help us. One of the things that we've talked about, and we're going to start implementing tonight is, we both agree that we need to be more active. And so it's like, we have treadmills, we have bikes, we have rebounders, we have BOSU balls, we have weights, free weights, we have, our body weight to exercise with. We have everything. There's no excuse for us not to be active, but we still get like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? I want to do that. And so tonight we're going to try line dancing. I mean, it's just us two and we got nothing else going on. So we're going to try line dancing. If all else fails, maybe we'll karaoke. I don't know. But just to kind of keep us active and everything like that. So I'll report back on in a couple of days on how that goes. But what are you finding that works for you? Have you had to have a phrase that comes into your mind repeatedly that you tell yourself? If so, what is that phrase? What I'm working towards here is to build a community where you can comment on things that worked for you during this challenge, because of course it's getting ready for the new year. So what are you doing to get ready for the new year? What are things that you're changing that you're like, you know what, I'd rather have this behavior in the new year? And that brings me to the second point in the book where he talked about how the act as if theory, right? We've all heard this one. If you want a certain characteristic, then just act as if you already have it until it becomes a part of you. And it's funny, because in doing this, like, I got to thinking about that today. What characteristics do I want to take into the new year? What kind of behaviors do I want to take into the new year? This also kind of fits in a line with that. And so being able to read good, healthy stuff, being able to learn new stuff, being able to apply new stuff, all of this is going to be going into the new year because that's what I want to happen. I want to be able to keep educating myself. I want to still have enthusiasm about doing it and get out of this feeling like, you know how it goes. So list in the comments what kind of things have you been using to help get you through the last couple of days, and how are you feeling about the challenge so far? What things are you seeing that are paying a dividend or a result already, and are you seeing results? That is, first of all, I commend you for paying attention to the videos and being here every day. Thank you. Because it is a commitment when you do show up to watch the videos every day, just like it's a commitment to show up and do the videos every day. And we're still going strong, which I'm very happy about. And so let's get the conversation happening. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to share it with a friend because, well, we all have those friends that we just think that what we're doing is the best and it would work for so-and-so. So there you go. Until next time, until tomorrow, then happy pre-Thanksgiving Day or Thanksgiving Eve, however you want to do it. And then let me know in the comments and we will see you later. Bye.